Hi guys, welcome to week 3 of Comp 1. I just recorded a 10-minute video and accidentally hit the wrong button and deleted it, so hopefully I can do this coherently a second time. I know that this is week 3, but we're also bleeding over into week 4, so really starting next week we'll be halfway through the semester, which is pretty crazy. It all goes very quickly. But do try to be sure that you're on top of things, specifically your journal, so you don't feel like you've been hit by a truck on week 7 and you feel like you're on top of your assignments and you kind of know what's going on and what's expected of you, because the work does not slow down in the second half of the semester. This week, our focus is going to be kind of twofold. We have kind of two paths this week that are still related. The first thing that I ask you to do is look over the difference between summary and analysis. And for our purposes in writing, we'll look at how both of those can be used, and they are both important, and they're appropriate in different ways. But summary, for example, is third-person point of view. It's very objective. None of your feelings or interpretations or analysis is included in a summary. If you were to read a story and be asked to give a summary over it, it might be a couple of sentences, just what happened in the story. A summary just skims the surface. It's exactly what the author or the filmmaker or the speaker was conveying. That's it. Analysis takes things a step further. Instead of skimming the surface, it goes underneath the surface. You have to dig deeper, get more information, maybe do some research, come up with your own interpretation of things, and give that text meaning. So an analysis is still third-person point of view, but you're making an argument about what the text is about. And for most of your writing in college, you're going to need to be analytical. So understand the difference between them and really start being comfortable with what both of those mean. We're also going to start talking about what's going to be our focus for the rest of the semester is rhetoric, which is argument, persuasive writing, and speaking. For this week, the focus will be on ethos, pathos, and logos, rhetorical appeals, and that's the beginning of the PowerPoint. Go ahead and go through that PowerPoint in its entirety, but we'll be focusing on logical fallacies and actually constructing your own argument in the next couple of weeks. You have a short reading assignment this week, Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. You'll read a selection from that book, and that book was referenced in Ted Robinson's TED Talk that you watched. He mentioned her book kind of starting the environmental awareness movement in the 60s that has continued today. And it's a good selection, it's a good example of persuasive writing. And then you'll also be reading How to Write a Critical Analysis. So read both of those. I ask you in the forums to just respond to Silent Spring. You have a viewing assignment this week. I've included a link to the documentary King Corn, which is about the food system and kind of some economic and environmental issues about food in America. And documentaries, most modern documentaries, are a really great way to think about argument and persuasion and rhetoric, which are all kind of interchangeable, the way that we use them, the words. Because the filmmaker is typically trying to convince or persuade an audience of something, that an issue is important, that something needs to be changed, that someone is doing something wrong that we need to be aware of. Most documentaries have some kind of perspective that are trying to be persuasive. So we can visually see how that filmmaker puts together ethos. Do we trust the filmmaker? Does the filmmaker include interviews of speakers who we trust, who are trustworthy, and why? Logos, the logos appeal, information, statistics, facts, we want that. And also pathos appeal, kind of the emotional appeal, personal stories that affect us emotionally, that kind of tug at the heartstrings to make us feel a certain way. All of those things work together to persuade. And it's kind of nice to visually see that happening in a documentary. Um, the documentary that I show in the classroom for this section of Comp 1 is Food Inc., but I just cannot find it online to provide you free and legally. So King Corn is a pretty well-known documentary about similar issues. So watch through that. I've included a handout. It's basically just kind of fill in the blanks, ethos, pathos, logos, appeals, and those don't exist in a vacuum. Sometimes something can be an ethos appeal and a pathos appeal, but just for our purposes to get you to kind of start thinking about these things. In one of your quizzes, I'll ask you to list the different appeals in the film. So that handout might be a nice way as you watch, just kind of jot down ideas that you have. And the other quiz is over summary and analysis. So you have a bit of reading and viewing this week, and 2 quizzes that will employ the kinds of writing and thinking that you're learning about this week. And again, our focus for the rest of the semester will be on rhetoric. So you'll be, diagnosing and analyzing other people's arguments and also creating your own for the rest of the semester. And this is kind of, I think, the fun stuff in composition, because this is the kind of thing that's going to make you a better consumer of information. You'll start to just look at things differently. Look at arguments around you, because argument is everywhere. It's advertising, it's when you try to get a raise from your boss, or when you're trying to get a job and writing a cover letter. All of that is argument. So being able to think about it critically will make you do it better. And better be able to wade through all of the arguments around you. So that's what's happening this week. I should have grades updated by Monday evening. Next Tuesday, June 25th through the following Sunday, I will be out of town. I'll have my laptop and internet. I just wanted to kind of let you know that I might not be as quick as normal at getting back to emails. Hopefully you won't even notice a difference. I'll still be around. I'll still be in the class. I'll still be updating things. But it would be in your best interest to, every week, but especially this week, go over the assignments for next week immediately. Make sure that you understand everything and what's expected of you, because if you don't, emailing me sooner rather than later so I can help you is a good idea. Because if you email me next Tuesday night, because you don't understand something, I might not get back to you quite in time for the Wednesday noon deadline. So again, that's a good habit to get into all of the time, no matter what class you're in. Make sure you understand things immediately and ask questions if you don't, and just don't wait to the last minute. So I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I think that looking at my time here, my last video that I accidentally deleted was 30 seconds longer, but I think that we've covered everything. Please let me know if you have any questions. Shoot me an email, and keep working hard and keep it up. I'll see you in the forums and as I grade your essays. Have a good one.